Gentlemen, thanks for joining me today in this conversation about remote work and how our companies, Stratodesk and LG Think clients enable that. Um, to start off, maybe for those who might not know, a quick intro for each company. What are LG Think clients and what is Stratodesk solution for remote work?
Yeah, let me start off by saying thank you very much for setting up this call. You know, I've been with the LG organization for 9 years. I am responsible for expanding our IT ID business, but within that is our cloud endpoint business, which we've established over the years. When I say cloud endpoint business, you know, we're selling thin clients, and people always wonder what a thin client is. And it's the easiest thing for me is it's a stripped down regular PC, right? So a traditional PC, you're going to have all the features, the SSD, the RAM. As you look at a thin client, it's a trimmed down version of that, right? It's really scaled back. When you look at the operating system, you look at the feature set, and you look at the SSD and the RAM storage. That's the easiest way I could explain it for you. It's just a trimmed down version of a traditional PC that you would accustom to be using.
So a little bit about Stratodesk. So Stratodesk is a software only company. And more specifically, Stratodesk provides an operating system, which is Linux based, which is specifically for VDI. So Stratodesk does a very elegant and efficient job of putting together a very small footprint Linux OS. Footprint's about 1.7 gigs. And what we do is we give you the ability as an end customer or a partner to be able to serve your customers or your organization by being able to provide connections for VMware with Horizon View, with Citrix for Workspace app. We also have connections into Windows Virtual Desktop is coming soon. We'll have that. We currently support that at HTML5, but the native client is going to be here any day. And then we do other, you know, and even if you wanted to do web only connections, we provide that as well. So we have a plethora of different connection types that allow you as the customer partner to be able to be flexible.
What makes this solution ideal for remote work?
This is an interesting time, right? We talk about the, you know, the challenges that we see out there in the market with COVID-19 pandemic and really pivoting fairly quickly since March. You know, as we look at our business, LG's business, we look at how we make it the customer's environment at the workplace, the same workplace that they have at home, right? So that is the pain point that we're seeing organizations spin up endpoints quickly to have the same environment, the same look and feel that they do at home. And that's where we come in with Stratodesk, right? We can offer a complete soup to nuts solution from a desktop as a service or a VDI environment by using your platform, your operating system, your management console, and collaborate with LG's 27-inch, 34-inch, 38-inch all-in-one thin client from a remote worker perspective. We have a thin client box type solution that we can use to plug into an existing monitor. If somebody wants to do a VDI experience and they already have monitors, they can plug one of our thin client box type, right? Our CL600, for example, dual quad core. But where we lean our hat on or hang our hat on is on 24-inch. We have a 24-inch thin client, all in one. We have we introduced it last year. We've got a 27-inch with a webcam thin client. And we have a 34-inch with a webcam thin client. And these webcams are all 4K, quad core solutions. And then we step it up as we look at a good, better, best strategy. We actually offer a 38-inch all-in-one thin client with web built in.
I have the next question here lined up. It's obvious that there's been a big shift to remote work due to the pandemic. I wanted to ask, how has this impacted the demand for LG thin clients at the same time for Stratodesk solution for thin clients?
when the COVID pandemic happened, the first thing that we saw that benefited LG was display business went up. So we saw a huge uptick in display business versus thin client business. But we think moving forward, as they go back to what this hybrid model of working from home versus working in the office, is they're going to come back and say, well, wait a minute. We need to look at something more stable and secure. And that's where thin clients will come in with Stratodesk.
And where do you see things going from here? Do you think remote work is here to stay?
I think remote work is absolutely here to stay. I won't share particular names of clients that we've experienced, but there are several large organizations that are now seriously considering that, hey, all of our folks are at home and they can now look and decide, well, this percentage of folks are doing either equally as good, if not better from home. And so they're finding that result. And I think that it's surprised a lot of folks out there that this remote work has actually turned out to be somewhat good for some organizations. And a lot of those organizations now, unfortunately for our real estate industry and the commercial real estate, you know, a lot of folks are getting rid of the leases for those brick and mortar office locations. And this remote work from home is working more and more and more. And that we as Stratodesk were positioned very well to take advantage of that when this came out. We're only improving that to enable customers to make it easier to work from home as well.
Right. I would echo what you just said. And I would just say that as we look at our society, we look at where organizations are going and looking at budget cuts and you know, you mentioned, Hernan, about, you know, organizations looking at their leases. What does that look like? Are they going to up their lease? Are they going to downsize? All that is on the table today. There's several organizations that have actually came out and vocalized on the internet. Amazon is one. They're not going back to work until January 8th. It keeps getting pushed out. Google's another one. Facebook's another one. So the list goes on and on. So I would say that there is going to be some type of hybrid model moving forward where you're going to see that they're going to allow a percentage of those employees to go back in the office, and maybe they flip-flop every other day to allow the spacing within the organization so we can control the you know, the outbreak, if you will. But I also think, going back to when people started evaluating, LG is one, right? We've done a survey that showed that there is a high percentage of employees that said, I feel like I can get more work done at home. I'm more efficient. And management looks at that and says, you know what? If we can get more out of the employees, and why not? It makes sense. So a lot of organizations are looking at that as they're looking at what the future looks like. And I really anticipate that we'll see a huge percentage of these organizations saying work from home is the future. And how can we do it and be secure, and how can we maintain the devices? And that's where LG and Stratodesk comes into play.
You're here. Well said.
Awesome. Well, unless you have anything else to add in regards to remote work, I would want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining me in this conversation. All
right. Thank you very much from the LG family to the Stratodesk family. Thank you guys very much for inviting us.